Did you know that you can't just pick a furry image on Google and use it as your profile picture, or find someone else's art, draw over the lines, and color it with your own thing? Let me help you in your journey into the world of furry artwork so that you don't accidentally do something wrong and proceed to have your head torn off by the entire furry community. For the love of God, please listen to this one. If I could choose one of my videos for everyone to watch before becoming a furry, it'd be this one. I have 5 terms here that I'm going to teach you about, and those terms are stealing, tracing, copying, referencing, and inspiration. So first, stealing. Now, stealing is obviously a bad thing, yet people still do it, so I need to talk about it. So stealing in regards to artwork is when you go on Google or you go to Fur Affinity or you just go somewhere on the internet and you're like, yeah, let's look up a picture of awesome, hot, sexy furries, yeah. Oh, look at that one, I really like that one. That one's me now, I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna save that, I'm gonna use that as my profile and everything. Yeah, I found myself. Victimless crime, right? Wrong. That picture that you just decided to use there, that's someone's persona. That's someone's character. Someone owns that. And they most likely paid a lot of money to have that awesome artwork created. Like, for example, you know Falvey. You've seen her artwork, trust me. She's probably the most commonly stolen from artist in this community. Her bust shots, they start at $150. Start. Don't get me wrong, it is definitely worth every dollar. Her art is so amazing, but that just puts it into perspective for you. Both artists and buyers have worked very hard to make that piece of art a reality, and then you've just yoink. Like, that is pretty disrespectful. Not to mention, you're now impersonating that person whose persona you just took, so it's a really good way to have a lot of people angry with you. And don't ever, ever, ever take a piece of artwork that you didn't create and then say you made it, because when you do that, you step over the line from disrespectful to possibly illegal. You are violating someone's intellectual property and even harming their business, so it can get very, very, very messy. So all in all, if you didn't make it or you didn't buy it, don't touch it. And then we have tracing. Now, I want to give a little shout out to my buddy Nimbus Whitetail, who has allowed me to use one of his amazing artworks and purposely trace it and copy it to show you an example of what ripped off artwork can look like. This is his amazing original piece. There's a link to it in the description. I highly recommend checking him out. Such an amazing artist that really, really, really needs more watches. I don't understand how he's not famous already. So, again, here's his original artwork, and here is my trace. Side by side. Quite obvious that I've ripped off his artwork. So tracing is when you take someone's artwork and you just draw over it line by line to copy it exactly. Doesn't have to be tracing the entire piece either. Maybe you had trouble drawing just this one paw, so you took a paw from an artist you really liked, traced over it, and put it in yours. No one will notice, right? Again, wrong. But why is tracing such a bad thing? It's because that artist that you traced off has spent years and years and years and years getting to that amazing level of where they are, and then you've just taken that and stolen all their expertise, all their years training and studying, and just done it. Like, that's not fair. Not to mention, you are also lying to everyone about what your artistic ability is. Like, what if someone wants to see how you draw? You're not going to be able to show them because you're just going to be tracing. Some people argue that they're just tracing because they're still learning. Well, tracing is a very, very, very bad way to learn. You might think it's good because, yay, look, I can just trace and look, I'm already amazing in 5 minutes, yay, no practice needed. But you're not learning anything. You're just learning how to copy someone else. You're not learning how to do anatomy. You're not learning the fundamentals of all kinds of artistic elements. Like, you're not finding your own style. Now, we can't stop you from tracing in the privacy of your own home. Like, I'm not gonna burst down your door with my little Cyrus going, oh, wee woo, wee woo, look, we got a tracer here. Just don't post it online anywhere, because before you know it, you're gonna be up to your armpits in artist bewares. And especially, don't trace artwork and then take commissions, because that's scamming. You're not an artist, You're a con artist. That's how you get the community really mad at you. Do you want to commit social suicide? That's how you do it. Not to mention, if an artist finds out you've been profiting off their work without their permission, here comes the legal trouble. So, tracing, don't do it. Unless it's in your house. Then, I can't stop you, but still recommend don't do it. And from tracing, we have copying. Now, copying is the one I get the most questions about on how to define. So, this is for you people. With that same artwork from Nimbus again, here's the original, and here's a piece that I copied. As you can see, I didn't trace it, but it is very uncomfortably similar. So you're allowed to look up other artworks to sort of help you, which is called referencing, which is what I'm going to go into next, but not to the point where they can recognize the original piece in your artwork. If I put the two artworks side by side, I should not be able to recognize the original one in yours. If I could do that, it's been copied. Copying can also be called heavy referencing, because sometimes you don't mean to copy it exactly the same, you just accidentally reference too much and now it's far too similar. It can be the pose, it can be the style, it can be the color palette, just anything that is much too identical to the original. I get a lot of questions about copying when it comes to reference sheet poses, because there's only really so many poses you can do for like a flat reference sheet. It is still possible to have yours completely different. Just try not to copy any poses exactly the same. You can still have the same sort of general gist, but don't be exactly the same. Copying can be just as bad as tracing, especially if you're knowingly doing it and you're making a profit off it, then you're a scam artist again. So please don't look at other people's artworks with the intent of being exactly the same as them. But then yes, referencing! Referencing is a good one that you should definitely do to learn how to draw. Referencing is when you look at a photo or another piece of artwork to help you sort of understand on an anatomical level how to do something in your style. For example, here's a piece I did recently on a running African wild dog. Now, I always get stuck when it comes to anatomy of running dogs, so I googled pictures of running African wild dogs and I referenced this picture. So as you can see, I haven't traced it, I haven't copied it. What I've done is I've used the legs in the photo to help me with my positioning of the legs in my one. Referencing is a very, very valuable tool that every single artist has used to help them get to where they are. Like, even back before we had computers, you remember where you've got all the artists around in a circle and then you've got like the nude model in the middle and they're all trying to draw it from their perspective? That's referencing. I highly recommend referencing photos over other people's artwork, but you can still use other people's artwork as a reference if you're very careful. If you reference it too much, you stray into the territory of heavy referencing or copying, so you need to be very careful. So referencing isn't a tool to copy someone, it's used as a guide to help you understand your own style. And lastly, we have inspiration. Probably the safest one out of them all. Inspiration is when you see something like a piece of artwork or a character and you love it so much that you develop your own original idea. You might take one of the common elements like the species or just the general concept, but in the end they are both completely 100% different. For example, me, Bakari. I was actually an inspiration. I was inspired by the fursuit Monster Brew. And then if you look at them side by side, they're both completely different. The only similarity is the species. They're both soda brews, but design-wise, concept-wise, character-wise, they are very, very different. Now, in the case of accidents do happen. Maybe you designed a character and then someone's come up to you like, hey, your character looks exactly the same as mine. You've copied me. I'm gonna do a beware on you. Hopefully they're a bit more civil than that, but it's very hard to prove that you haven't copied them when you actually didn't. What you should do is really a case-by-case scenario. Everything is different, but hopefully you and the person who's upset with you can come to some kind of compromise. For example, in the case of accidental character theft, you can talk to the other person and be like, hey, well, what are some changes you'd like me to make so that you'll be happy with it? and they might offer some small minor adjustments for them to be completely alright with your character. It sucks when you have to change your character, but do you want to keep the peace? Again, it's a case-by-case scenario on what you should do, so feel free to ask people for help on what to do in your case. Thank you for watching. I hope this has cleared up some stuff for you, and I hope you'll all stop using frickin' Falviart as your profile pictures on YouTube. I see you there, I see you in the comments, and I'm looking down at you and I'm thinking, oh boy. And I shall see you next week, where I'm gonna tell you about all the awesome furry places on the internet you can go and hang out. Bye bye!